AGCO's North American market share in the over 100 horsepower row crop segment has shown consistent growth across the last several reporting periods, and the gains are not scattered randomly across the country. They are concentrated in specific operation profiles, specific regions, and specific financial circumstances that tell you exactly why this shift is happening right now in 2026 rather than 5 years ago. This is Farm Gear Pro. Today we are breaking down the real reasons behind the Fendt switch, not brand sentiment, the actual documented numbers driving the decision. Let's get into it. Start with the transmission, because every operator who has made this switch points to the same mechanical difference first. The Fendt Vario continuously variable transmission has been in continuous production since 1995, refined across 3 decades of model years without an architectural break in its core engineering approach. In Fendt Vario, continuous production since 1995. 30 years of refinement without an architectural break. The Vario delivers continuous torque with no shift points. The engine settles automatically at whatever RPM uses the least fuel for the current load, without the operator making a single transmission input. Under partial load, which describes the majority of a working farmer's actual day across planting, tillage, and hay operations, that engineering approach keeps engine RPM 200 to 400 RPM lower than a comparable powershift transmission at the same ground speed. Documented field comparisons between CVT architecture and powershift transmissions under sustained draft conditions show the Vario delivering 8 to 12% better fuel efficiency at equivalent working speed and load. 8 to 12% fuel efficiency advantage, documented. CVT versus powershift. Sustained draft conditions. On a 3,000-acre operation running 700 hours per season, that efficiency gap translates into thousands of gallons of diesel recovered annually, a number operators can verify against their own fuel receipts within a single working season. Now the repair access reality. And this is the variable that has moved from a secondary consideration to the primary driver behind a significant share of these brand switches. John Deere's Service Advisor diagnostic platform remains dealer-gated on current model tractors. An independent mechanic cannot fully service the electronic systems without a dealer software license or a workaround that voids the warranty. John Deere Service Advisor. Dealer-gated. Independent mechanic cannot fully service the electronic systems. The Federal Trade Commission sued John Deere in January 2025 under Section 2 of the Sherman Act, specifically over this dealer-only diagnostic architecture. A federal judge denied John Deere's motion to dismiss in June 2025, and a separate class action produced a $99 million settlement in April 2026, with Deere committing to expanded diagnostic access by end of 2026. The federal antitrust case remains active as of May 2026, meaning a John Deere tractor purchased today still runs the diagnostic architecture that triggered the original lawsuit. FTC lawsuit. January 2025. $99 million settlement, April 2026. Architecture still unchanged on current machines. The European Union adopted a binding right to repair directive in 2024, requiring manufacturers selling into the EU to provide owners with tools, software access, and documentation to repair their own machines. Because Fendt sells heavily into that European market, its diagnostic architecture was already built around open access before that directive became legally compulsory. That structural difference means a Fendt operator with a sensor fault can pull the panel, swap the part, and get back to work without a dealer technician driving out to authorize the repair on a laptop. EU Right to Repair Directive 2024. Binding. Fendt already built around open access before the law required it. AGCO has publicly stated support for farmers' right to repair their own equipment across its full lineup. A stated corporate philosophy, rather than a settlement obligation still being implemented. Before we go further, if Farm Gear Pro is giving you the real numbers behind this trend, hit subscribe right now. We cover this every week. Real operating data, real legal developments, no dealer talking points. Hit like and share this with any operator weighing this exact decision right now. Back to it. Now, the financial pressure on John Deere specifically, because corporate financial health has become a documented factor in equipment purchase decisions in 2026, In a way, it simply was not 5 years ago. John Deere's net income fell from $10.2 billion in fiscal 2023 to $5.27 billion in fiscal 2025, a third consecutive year of decline, with a 2026 forecast between $4 billion and $4.75 billion in John Deere net income, $10.2 billion FY 2023, $5.27 billion FY 2025. Third straight year of decline. Alongside that financial decline, John Deere laid off more than 3,500 workers across Iowa and Illinois facilities between October 2023 and September 2025, while shifting certain production lines to a new facility in Ramos, Mexico. That combination of falling profits, domestic layoffs, and production moving south of the border has damaged the brand's relationship with the rural American communities that have historically been its most loyal customer base. A retired John Deere dealer summarized the sentiment plainly. The reason farmers paid premium prices for this equipment was partly because it represented American manufacturing jobs, and that justification weakens when the production decisions move elsewhere. Layoffs. Mexico production shift. Damaged relationship with loyal rural customer base. AGCO is headquartered in Duluth, Georgia, making it an American parent company, even though Fendt's engineering and manufacturing remain centered in Marktoberdorf, Bavaria. Now the dealer network comparison, because this is the honest limitation that genuinely slows this switch for a meaningful share of operators considering it. John Deere still carries the largest dealer footprint in American agriculture by a significant margin. Most large operations across the Corn Belt and Great Plains sit within 30 to 45 minutes of a John Deere dealer. John Deere, largest dealer footprint in American agriculture. Most operations within 30 to 45 minutes. AGCO has been expanding the Fendt dealer network specifically across the upper Midwest and Northern Plains, with the Fendt Large Customer Experience Center in Jackson, Minnesota, serving as a regional training and service anchor. 5 years ago, finding a Fendt-certified mechanic in Iowa was a phone call that might go nowhere. Today it is a drive, shorter than it used to be, but in many rural counties, still longer than the John Deere dealer down the road. That gap is closing steadily, not closed entirely, and any operator considering this switch needs to factor his specific county's dealer proximity honestly into the decision before signing anything. Fendt dealer network expanding. Shorter drive than 5 years ago, still longer than John Deere in many counties. Now the resale signal, because the second-hand market reflects what buyers are actually willing to pay, independent of brand loyalty or sentiment. Used Fendt units across multiple series have been holding resale value consistently through 2025 and into 2026, according to Sullivan Auctioneers and Steffi's Group results. At the same time, late-model John Deere units are showing up at Ritchie Brothers and Big Iron auction lots across Iowa, Illinois, and Nebraska, in volumes that did not exist 5 years ago. Used Fendt units. Strong resale 2025 and 2026. John Deere late model units. Increasing auction volume. That auction data is the market's honest verdict. It reflects what buyers are actually willing to pay for each machine at comparable hours, independent of which brand a man's father used to run. Custom operators, the men running 100,000 acres a year on contract who cannot afford a tractor failure during a contracted job, have been among the most visible buyers showing up at Fendt dealers in recent seasons. These are professionals whose entire business model depends on equipment reliability and cost per acre precision. They do not switch brands on sentiment, only on numbers that hold up under scrutiny. Custom operators. Entire business model depends on reliability. They do not switch on sentiment. You can see the shift at Farm Progress in Decatur and at Husker Harvest Days in Grand Island. Rows of Fendt Nature Green parked next to rows of John Deere Green in numbers that would have looked unusual 5 years ago. Now the cabin operator comfort comparison, because 12 to 14 hours a day in a seat is not a minor consideration on a serious row crop operation. The Fendt cab runs pneumatic cab suspension, self-leveling front axle suspension, and a seat tuned for vibration dampening by an engineering team that treats operator ergonomics as a mechanical problem rather than a brochure feature. Fendt cab. Pneumatic suspension. self-leveling front axle, engineered for vibration dampening. Operators who have made the switch from John Deere consistently describe the cab transition as noticeable within the first working week. Quieter, smoother through transitions, and built around minimizing operator fatigue across a long planting or harvest day. That is not a comfort feature in isolation. A less fatigued operator at hour 13 of a planting day makes better agronomic decisions, better depth control, better headland management, better situational awareness on equipment worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. On a large operation where operator decision quality directly affects input efficiency across thousands of acres, cab design is a productivity variable that belongs on the same spreadsheet as fuel cost and purchase price. Less fatigue at hour 13. Better agronomic decisions. Cab design is a productivity variable. Now the honest counterpoint, because this comparison would not be credible without acknowledging where John Deere genuinely still wins. John Deere's precision agriculture software stack, for an operation fully committed to it, remains a genuinely integrated system that delivers real productivity value at scale across guidance, section control, and connected farm management. For a large corporate operation with full-time dealer relationships and the financial scale to absorb service costs as a routine line item, staying with Green remains a defensible business decision in 2026. John Deere, precision ag stack, genuinely integrated, real productivity, value for committed large operations. The categories where John Deere is holding ground are specifically the categories where scale insulates an operator from the costs that smaller and mid-size farmers absorb more directly. The mid-scale family operation, the backbone of American agricultural output, is exactly where this switch is concentrated, because that is where dealer-locked repair costs and dealer trip charges hit hardest relative to total revenue. That is the actual shape of this trend in 2026, not a mass exodus across every operation size, but a specific and growing segment of serious mid-scale operators doing the math and acting on it. Mid-scale family operations, where the switch is concentrated, where lockout costs hit hardest. So what does the complete kitchen table model actually look like for the operator running this comparison right now? Annual debt service at current financing rates on each machine, projected fuel cost differential based on documented CVT efficiency data, realistic dealer rate repair cost on the Deere versus independent repair cost on the Fendt, and projected resale at comparable hours from current auction data. Run those 4 lines honestly with your own operations numbers, your own region-specific dealer proximity, and your own financing rate. That model is what is actually driving this trend across the Corn Belt and Great Plains. Debt service, fuel differential, repair cost, projected resale. 4 lines, the real model. The farmers making this switch are not doing it because European engineering sounds impressive at a dinner party or because Fendt ran a more compelling advertisement. They are doing it because they sat down with their own numbers, found a gap that mattered to their specific operation, and made a financial decision the same way they make every other decision on the farm. That is the real explanation behind why AGCO's market share keeps climbing in this specific horsepower segment. Hundreds of individual spreadsheets arriving at a similar conclusion, one operation at a time. Individual spreadsheets, one operation at a time, arriving at a similar conclusion across the Corn Belt. FarmGear Pro is going to keep tracking every auction result, every dealer network shift, and every legal development on both sides of this comparison as 2026 continues into 2027. Because whether you are running green or already running nature green, the documented numbers behind this trend are only going to matter more as commodity margins stay tight and equipment prices keep climbing. Thanks for watching FarmGear Pro. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.